If you have seen any of the advertisements for Black Snake Moan, you may think the film is sadomasochistic or that Christina Ricci is Samuel L. Jackson's sex slave, and the title just adds to it. Yes, Ricci is an nymphomaniac who's nearly naked for most of the movie, and yes, Jackson's character does chain her to a radiator, but this is not your typical sex-driven movie.
It's about the exploitation of women. I mean, this is a woman who's abused as a child before she's even a woman, you know, abused as a young girl, exploited as a young girl, and then as an adult sort of takes the lead and is exploiting herself. And I think that women have been exploited in this society for so long that we're starting to exploit ourselves. And I think this is an incredibly, a great sort of microcosmic example of that and how that happens.
The bravery that Christina throws into this thing in terms of exposing herself, not just physically, but in terms of the emotional rawness that she portrays in this particular film, is something we haven't seen. We talk about these dysfunctions all the time, but we don't know the depth or the emotional pain that these things cause people.
The characters vocalize their intense and raw emotions through blues music, which is not an unusual move for Craig Brewer, the writer and director for both Black Snake Moan and Hustle and Flow. Brewer, who named the movie after a famous blues song, explained the importance of the music within the film.
If you're going to study the blues, you're going to see that a lot of it has to do with fear. A lot of the Delta bluesmen down in Mississippi, they were living in a scary time, times where just looking at a white woman could get you killed. A time when levees broke and entire cities would be swallowed up by a flood. I felt that blues music is something that calls out your sins, calls out your obsessions. But when you start singing it and calling it out and dancing, you're left at the end with some bit of peace.
With so much music in the film, I had a burning question for Brewer. Justin's a singer, and yet he doesn't sing in this movie, whereas the other two main actors do.
I'm rather perplexed by it myself because it's just worked out that way. I mean, in all my films, Terrence Howard plays a rapper in the movie. Ludacris doesn't rap in the movie. I have David Banner, a rapper in my movie. He doesn't do anything in this movie. Neither does Justin, and yet Sam and Christina both sing. So the more I'm making these movies, the more I kind of like appreciate those kind of combinations, because everybody's a little bit off their game a little bit, because there's one element that is foreign to them.
Timberlake may not have sung in the movie, but he did have some words of wisdom to impart about something else he is well known for.
I actually did ask Justin to teach me how to dance once, but I used the term pop and lock, and I was immediately informed that popping and locking are two completely opposite things and do not coexist.
Just as Ricci was surprised by this information, the audience will be just as surprised by the message of the movie. For Daily Bruin TV, I'm Brigitta Hochner.